What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is my full hands-on review of the Motorola Moto X 2014 edition, or the second generation if you want to call it. So this is the latest offering and the flagship from Motorola, and I've been really looking forward to checking it out. So how does it live up to expectation? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out in this full hands-on review. So starting off with the display, you've got a 5.2 inch AMOLED display with a 1080p resolution, so that's 1920 by 1080. That works out to roughly about 423 ppi pixel density. Now colors are very vibrant, great viewing angles, and all around I do think this is a very nice display, and I definitely don't think you're going to be disappointed with it. Now for a 5.2 inch display, the size of the device is actually pretty good. I mean, comparing it to the Samsung Galaxy S5 here, which has a 5.1 inch screen, so it's got a smaller screen. But the Moto X, in terms of height and width, is actually smaller compared to the Samsung Galaxy S5. Now the design of this device is very nice, and it looks very slick. I mean, they've used the same design for the Google Nexus 6 as well. You've got a metal frame here with a soft touch curved back. Now this curved back is key here because it makes the device very comfortable to hold. It just fits in your hand, and it's definitely one of the best feeling devices out there, I would say. It also looks very premium because of that metal frame. Now the standard back here, the black one, can attract a bit of fingerprints and scuff, so you do have to give it a wipe sometimes. But you do have the Moto Maker, so you can customize this as you like. There's lots of different versions available, and you can have different materials as well. So there's also a leather option available, and there's also bamboo, so you can have a wooden back. This is a really nice touch to be able to customize your smartphone as you like. One thing to mention about the design, you've got a front-facing speaker at the bottom. Now this is only a single front-facing speaker. It looks like there's dual front speakers, but the top one is actually the headset. It is only the bottom speaker, but because it is front facing, it does sound a lot better than the other devices that have a back facing or bottom facing speaker. Now this is just something to bear in mind. It's not the end of the world, and it is definitely better than a lot of other devices out there, but it is just the single front facing speaker. Now moving on to the internals, you've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 quad-core 2.5 GHz processor, and it's got the Adreno 330 GPU and 2 GB of RAM, so not the best specs out there right now, but it is blazing fast. I had no problems whatsoever in terms of speed. This is very quick and snappy, and the reason for this is that Motorola keep this very close to stock Android, and they don't add too much to it like other manufacturers. And you've got Android KitKat 4.4.4 here right now at the time of this video. Now this will be going on to Lollipop very soon, and I'm confident for that because Motorola do give you the updates very quick. They're the quickest manufacturer to bring you updates, and this is something that Motorola have now gained a good reputation for. Now Motorola have added some of their own features which are actually quite useful. For example, you can wave your hand over the phone, and this is going to give you a glance at your notifications, and you can also touch these to get a preview on to the notifications, which is very nice. Now I would have liked to have had an LED notification as well. This is something personally coming from lots of other devices, so at a distance I could see if I had any notifications, say for example if the phone was charging or something. Just something really minor, nothing major here. And you've got some great voice controls, so you've got some touchless controls here. For instance, you can also now customize your phrase, which is going to wake the device. So your device could be sitting on your desk, and you could simply say something like, "Okay, Moto X, can you set an alarm for 8 PM later today?"
Setting alarm.
So this is a really nice and advanced feature. Now you can customize this to whatever name you want, and this is still going to work. So this is definitely a very nice and personal touch. Now, in terms of the memory options, you've got either the 16 or 32 gig versions, and these are the only versions available. You don't have any larger versions, and you don't have expandable storage either. Now I would have preferred if they went for a 32 and 64 gig version because there is no expandable storage available. And moving on to the camera, you've got a 13 megapixel rear facing camera which is capable of filming 4K, so that's 2160p. Now generally speaking, this is a good camera overall, and you can get some nice shots with it with some good detail and some good colors. I wouldn't say it's one of the best cameras out there in terms of smartphones right now, and you can also get some good video from this camera. But the autofocus in video is where I was disappointed. I did find myself getting frustrated with the autofocus. Sometimes it just would not focus on the area that I wanted to, even though it was right in the center, as you can see from this example here. And if I did want to touch the focus, then I can't do that either because it just takes a picture. Now, as far as I know, there is no way to change this. I've had a look in the settings. In video, if you touch, it simply takes an image, and you have to rely on the autofocus of the camera in video. In images, you do have a bracket which you can drag around to focus in, but there is no option available here in terms of video as far as I can see. Now, they may be able to update this with a software update. I'm not too sure, but this is just something to bear in mind. Now, the front-facing camera is a 2 megapixel front-facing camera capable of filming 1080p HD. Once again, this is pretty standard, nothing great here. It's going to be okay for your selfies, but I do think this is something that they should have improved because of the selfie craze that we have right now. Now, moving on to the battery life, you've got a 2300 milliamp battery. Now, this is not removable, so you can't carry on a spare or anything like that. And battery life generally was okay. For me, I did need to top up towards the end of the day because I am a medium to heavy user. If you're a light to medium user, it should get you through the full day, but I would have liked this to have a little bit better battery life. Now, finally, looking at the price for the 16 gig version, you're looking at £420 here in the UK, or around about $500 in the US. Now, this is the off-contract SIM-free price, just to give you an idea in terms of the value of the device. It is coming quite a bit cheaper compared to some of the other flagships out there. So there we have it, the full hands-on review of the Motorola Moto X. Overall, I think this is a very nice device, especially for what you're paying. Now, it's not perfect, and there is still a few areas that I would have liked to have seen improved, such as the camera and also the battery life. But for the price that you're paying, with that software experience, that very near stock Android experience, with the useful Motorola features, as well as a great build and the ability to customize the build with the Moto Maker, will make this a very, very good option for a lot of people. What do you think of the Motorola Moto X? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so, you know, yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay, there isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.